your name have come up. Your name has come up here and there. People are saying specifically that you have been, you've been identified as a possible peer, to VP, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Would you consider being vice presidential candidate to former VP Atiku Abubakar?
Okay, let me tell you something. I respect him as a Democrat. Let me tell you why I respect Atiku. He has never served in the military government before. And in those days of Abacha, when everybody was falling all over themselves, he maintained respectable distance. And to say something which is an irony, he was the first presidential candidate or aspirant that I supported. Because in 1991, when I joined the SDP, around later 91, there were two candidates. He was running, Abiola was running, because at that time we were taking Yaradua was going to be the candidate. Now, when Babangida banned Yaradua, the Babangida government, that is to say, banned Yaradua, and then Abiola came up and Atiku came up. Then our national chairman, Babakana Kingebe, who was supposed to be the umpire, suddenly came up too and said he wanted to run. I was told by Jack and Co that it was the governors pushing him, whatever. But I supported Atiku because he was the youngest of them. He looked young.
This is Naija Unfiltered on SYMFONI TV. My name is Olawale Oluwade, and my guest today is presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Prince Adewole Adebayo. Prince, you're welcome to the show once again.
Good to see you. May God bless Nigeria.
Amen. Same here. Now, let's get on with our conversation. A lot is happening, but I think it's ideal we start from the Tinubu administration. It was 3 years exactly, May 29th, just a week ago. Can you give us your general assessment of the government's performance in terms of security, in terms of economy, and democratic deepening or weakening democratic practice?
Let us agree on certain parameters so that my assessment is not based on my bias. There are 3 parameters we must agree upon. One is our Constitution, because that Constitution is the job description for every person in Nigeria, from an ordinary citizen, an average citizen, to the President of the Republic. Therefore, that's the marking scheme. And if you look into that Constitution, it says that power belongs to the people. It says that we, the people. It also says that those in government will derive their power and legitimacy from the people. And it says in Chapter 2, Fundamental Objectives and Directive Principles of State Policy, that security and welfare of the people will be the primary duty of government, and that we are going to run on democracy and social justice. So I know from your face that you are already getting worried on behalf of President Tinubu that along constitutional parameters, he has failed. I don't have to like him or not like him. As far as the Constitution is concerned, Tinubu has failed to organize a government. So what you have are Tinubu and friends in high places, but there's no government established so far. Now, the second criterion will be what he himself said he will achieve voluntarily.
Manifesto, his own manifesto.
Yes, and core promises that he made. In the core promises that he made, he not only failed the people, he failed himself. And he also stated the consequences that if, for example, he cannot generate electricity, guarantee electricity, nobody should vote for him. He did not only fail to generate electricity for Nigerians, he failed to generate for himself, to the point that he had lost confidence in his own ability to run the place, that he went off-grid, that I don't trust this power system that I'm running. Let me take some money from Nigerian people and go off-grid. And if you go around the villa, like I go, because I have residents around there, even the solar panel, they can't arrange it well. It's misarranged. It's a misinvestment. It just shows to you that they are not capable. Now, is it in the area of security? There are places in Nigeria that President Tinubu cannot go. I dare him to go.
Oh, really?
Yes. All the places I go in Nigeria, President Tinubu cannot go there. He dare not go there.
Such as?
He went to Plateau. He couldn't leave the airport. Too frightened to leave the airport and go to Agwarukuba. I've been to your state. He dare not go. He cannot dream it. President Tinubu's territory is limited to the State House and the airport. And Bodilon. He's more at home in France and more at peace overseas than at home. So, he also said that he will so fortify the armed forces and recruit Nigerians into it. After all, what will he give them? That's how he came up with the idea. You give them agbado, you give them all those things. He cannot give agbado even to his own supporters. The poorest people, the poorest segment of the people today are APC voters. So, based on what he said he would do, he has failed. He said he will remove subsidy and he will balance the books. He removed subsidy, he took loans, he still can't balance the books. His ministers, as complacent, as pliant, as subservient as they are crying out that they are not getting more than 1%, 2%, single-digit percentage of their capital votes. He's taxing everybody to pieces. Yet, he cannot snitch together 3 budgets. He failed consecutively on 3 budgets by their own assessment. So, that is Tinubu based on failing Tinubu's own exam. So it's like an exam. You know, at school in America, there are places there they will ask you to set your own. Yeah. You are like a PhD student. You bring your own topic for your own PhD. You do your own research and still fail in your own PhD. So that is Tinubu. Then comparative. So I've used constitutional parameters, it's a total failure. I've used his own voluntary promises.
Agenda.
It's a colossal failure. And then I use comparative. That is domestic comparative and international comparative. It's a failure in all fields. So that is why it is not a question. There's no creativity. There's no credit to be given to somebody who points at the failure of Tinubu, because the blind can see the failure. The deaf can hear it. So what we need to do now is to set another agenda that will be corrective of the damage already done. Of course, there can be some that can be indicative to him that though President Tinubu is a confirmed failure with metrics to show, but he wasn't destined to fail. He just decided to fail out of unseriousness because President Tinubu, does not take Nigeria seriously. And he doesn't take that office seriously. He's treating that office like a chieftaincy title he purchased. It's like a trophy. So he doesn't do the work, and he doesn't execute the office, he doesn't collaborate. So when you have a president who has deficiency in thinking, who has no feedback mechanism, and who has contempt for due process, and who is particularly contemptuous of all the safeguards that are meant to help you to execute the office. So it will be like a rich man's son whose mother is a professor, but will still deliberately fail in a school because those incentives that are meant for you to facilitate your study have now become quote comfort for you in the sense that you just look down on all the systems. So he can't take correction. He's not willing because every day we talk, we show signs of things that he needs to do. Even the low-hanging fruits, he cannot. So that is the reason why I'm personally pained, because even between now and January, when we are going to kick him out in the ballot, and May, when he's going to finally pack his baggage and get out of town, he can do a lot of good, provided that he knows that the entire transition program we are experiencing now was packaged together by Abubakar less than a year. So Murtala Mohammed, whose name we are putting everywhere, spent 6 months in government. And in the parliamentary system, there are prime ministers of UK, of many European countries, that don't spend 6 months in office. So it is possible for him to turn around, but he needs to have a different mindset. He needs to earn respect for the office. So there is no guarantee that he's going to do that, because he's almost like he's far gone in the wrong way. So that is why I'm more focused on letting Nigerians know that the failure of Tinubu is not the failure of Nigeria. It's not the end. We still can put together a sensible government that is constitutionally grounded, that commits itself to Security Chapter 2 of the Constitution, that wants to mobilize genuine patriots who want to serve the country for the sake of the country, and that we can do all of this democratically and ensure that if there is any mistake in the government that we are going to form, that the voters have the ability to correct us in the election, because the elections now will be made free, fair, and credible, with levels of government not reaching out to INEC, not reaching out to the judiciary, not reaching out to the police, EFCC, ICPC, and other law enforcement. So what we will bring in is to remove the hand of government in constitutional bodies and run our government departments by ourselves. So we make laws for the police. We don't tell the police when to enforce the law, they should arrest, who they should not arrest. I said it on many platforms that ours is the only country where law enforcement takes directive from politicians. All over the world, law enforcement don't take directive from politicians. That is one of the guarantees of rule of law. Not to talk of electoral commissions, they shouldn't take directive. So those are the things we bring about.
You said a lot, Prince, and I was actually very sober. I mean, I've heard a lot of this, but you have an amazing use of words. The way you put this together is really very sobering for me. But I want to take you up on something. I want you to shed light on something, that President Tinubu was not destined to fail. He wasn't destined to fail, but that he probably deliberately chose to fail. Can you shed more light on this? But this is really worrying and troubling.
You see, there are some people who are destined to fail because they will take over government when they're not ready. It will be foisted on them. So you are vice president, your president dies. You didn't bargain to be president. Yeah. You are president, something happened that never happened before. It happened started in your time. suddenly a country invades your country, or Boko Haram starts in your time. You never knew anything like that. In President Tinubu's time, nothing new has happened. From the moment he conceived the notion that he would seek the presidency, the problems we have now had always been there. And then he had worked in Lagos. He has had opportunity to spend 8 years in Lagos. He had also had a period of 8 years or more to be outside government and see the impact of what neglect in government can lead to. He has stayed in the opposition. He has seen how fragile power is when you leave it. The same thing my senior brother, Nasir El-Rufai, is experiencing now. That, okay, when you're in power, you don't overdo it because the system has to have an even keel. That's why the Romans talk about the golden, the golden middle. Don't overdo things. Even Yoruba cosmology, Yoruba philosophy, extreme wealth is bad, extreme power is bad, extreme poverty is bad, extreme powerlessness is bad. So you golden mean, that's how the Romans call it. You stay in the middle. So he has had all those opportunities. And then the problems that he is facing are problems that we've designed solutions to. For example, when he came, with respect to election and all of that, the election of Yar'Adua was not as controversial as his own election. Yes, Yar'Adua took lessons and set up the Justice Lawal Uwe's panel to say, my election will be the last time I will go anywhere in the world, any Nigerian leader will go anywhere in the world, and the media will be asking you about the credibility of your election. So that Uwe's report had now been written. After that, we had constitutional conference with solutions there. He had been in the SDP before, following Abiola everywhere. On these ideas that I'm now proposing, he only stole the title, but no content in it. And he also knows that it's not destined to fail because it's not like a starter. Yes. He is in his last quarter of his life. So what excuse does he have to now be president and not pay attention to the work? So that's why he decided to choose failure as a choice, because he looks at his journey to the presidency and say, you know what, I bought this thing. And I'm not just saying it because I'm thinking of what to say. I am telling you what he himself has used his own mouth to say. And when the political parties, at his own invitation, went to see him in the State House, he used his mouth to tell us why he's doing these irrational things. Because they were trying to make a statesman out of him. They were trying to remind him that you are the head of state. Things, all these abominations should not be taking place. And he answered them. Because it was Dantale who went to speak on behalf of the parties as the chairman of IPAC. And he said, you have provoked me. I didn't want to talk before. I suffered. You will suffer your own. When I was in opposition, they dealt with me. So now that it's my turn, why should I help you? And he concluded by saying, power is sweet when you are enjoying it. So it shows to you that what he is doing it consciously to say, in this country, I will show them pepper. So that's why I said it wasn't destined to fail. It made failure a choice.
Interesting. Prince, in assessing the president's 3 years in office, you gave 3 parameters. Constitutionally, gross failure. By his own self-setting agenda, gross failure, comparatively failure, colossal failure. But, you know, the members of his own party and some of his own die-hard supporters would argue stridently with you that, no, the president is doing very well. You know, the economy is improving, macroeconomic indicators are on the upswing. Never mind whether they have any bearing to the realities of Nigerian everyday life. What's your response to them? I mean, even multilateral agencies, IMF, World Bank, they will praise him on one hand, even though they will now say, "Oh, you can do this better." How do you respond to this?
First, they are playing the role he assigned them to play. There are some he wrote songs for them to be singing. So anywhere he goes, they sing. Anywhere they see, they sing. So they sing, not the national anthem.
On your mandate, we shall stand.
Yes, even though the owner of the mandate can't stand on it himself. So this is the role he gave to them. Those in the National Assembly, where he has majority, he's given them rubber stamp role that they can legislate their own self-liquidation, as it has shown now. Those who are in his government can't see him.
No access.
No access. He has made himself a thin god. So they can see in council, sit in the lighting and all their memos. Go and check from them. How many of the memos that pass through see the light of day? How much of foreign affairs does the foreign affairs minister dictate? What's the new thing that the Minister of Health has done? His own Minister of Darkness,
Minister of Power,
decided to abandon the president in darkness and go and fetch a missing mandate for governorship somewhere. It shows you that he cannot even, you can see his own team don't have respect for the mandate. So these people are playing roles of telling the emperor, who is stark naked, that he has colorful clothes. This is the role given to them. And many of them, when they talk, they're not talking so that you can listen. They have an audience of one man. They're talking to remind him that we, your long-suffering, singing, anthem singing members are still here. So that, and he's the owner of his party. It's not like me that I'm subservient to my party and I obey my party. The party obeys him. So this is the reason he has chosen 3 chairmen for his party outside convention. And he has interrupted this interview with another darkness. So what I'm letting you know is that if it's an analysis, because I don't want to be Tinubu's psychoanalyst, because that will force you to be a psychotherapist, which is a dangerous job to do, is that he can do better than he's doing. He's tired and disinterested. I have my belief that left to President Tinubu, he will not run for second term. It is his 2031 team that are running on his behalf. He is not much better than Goodluck Jonathan, who is hiding from mandate, who is hiding from screening. Somebody has made Jonathan a candidate, yes, but Jonathan has not bought form, has not filled form, has not signed signature, has not spoken. So it shows to you how they capture people in the presidency there. So President Tinubu now is not facing the people, engaging the people. It is those people who have something to lose when he goes that are now running the thing on his behalf. That's why the message is inconsistent all over the place. Because they're thinking, oh, this man has not only dropped the ball, he has lost the ball. And all of us will be out. because we have nothing to show. So let us just continue to run the system on his behalf. So that's why it has become, the Nigerians are showing some form of apathy, but the president himself is showing presidential eremitism, where he himself is withdrawn like a hermit from any engagement with Nigerian people and just on his own. So this is the state. So it will be a blessing without disguise if Nigerians can organize ourselves together, go to the poll, and give President Tinubu bye-bye. He himself, personally, will be relieved. If you listen to President Goodluck Jonathan, you will see that after he has escaped from those deceiving him, and he picked his phone and called President Muhammadu Buhari and say, "Congratulations, Mr. President, you have won election." The peace of the Lord descended upon him. He became a human being. And he started thinking of the fastest route to Turkey. That doesn't require middlemen, lying to anybody, throwing money away, all of that. You are going to know the true skeleton and physiology of President Tinubu when he leaves office. These people who are singing on your mandate, we shall quench, will be the first to tell you that the man was never good. Because when I was criticizing President Muhammadu Buhari, from the feedback I was getting from President Buhari, he was in favor of some of the criticism of his government that I was doing. And on a few occasions when we met, he would greet me. So, but those people, like Adams Oshomole, and other court jesters like that, who were defending Buhari, including Mr. Phyllis Moaka, they were now the one telling me now Buhari left a terrible legacy for Tinubu to inherit. So President Tinubu himself is a man from the streets. He knows that these people are just playing a role. So I can tell you that if we manage to get our senses right, and we stop demanding free, fair, and credible election from President Tinubu because he doesn't know where it is located. If we organize ourselves together and we defeat him handsomely on the ballot, he will go in peace and he will be grateful that, okay, I can go to Babylon and be looking in the water, or I can join my friends in France, no question asked, no peace, nobody disturbing me. He will wish them, because look at the statement he made. When he was taken to the tribunal, and the matter went all the way to Supreme Court, the day the matter was decided, his minions, some of whom are out of job now, went to him to say congratulations. He said, no, your jobs are safe. Because left to the man, he had dreamed to be president. They have hung his picture on the wall. He has achieved his aim. If you fire him tomorrow, he's gone. But those who believe that without him, they will not have access to the privileges that they are enjoying that they don't deserve, they are the ones scrambling around, doing mischief on his behalf, giving a false impression that he's popular. President Tinubu knows that he's not popular. The man is a man of numbers. He knows that he's not performing. He knows that he's not delivering on the mandate. But he's being told by people that he is popular. It's okay, if you can get it for me, go and try it. But I can tell Nigerians today, don't worry about President Tinubu. Even me that I'm criticizing him is because I keep trying to give evidence of my observation. But I'm tired of talking about Tinubu. I'm talking about Nigeria after Tinubu. That is the Nigeria that I'm interested in.
Some have argued that if the president had averted his mind to the issue of insecurity from the beginning, as he did, for instance, to politics, but more importantly, to tax reforms, 4 bills, with all the resistance, he muscled it through the National Assembly and got it passed in record time. And the man who did that hatchet job is now Minister for Finance. People are saying, informed people I might add, that if you had even devoted 25% of the time for insecurity, we will not be here. Because number one, you would have used that same energy to pass through community policing or state policing in the National Assembly. But it did not do that. How do you respond to this?
Number one, I say it to you, verily, security is a big problem. But the number one problem in Nigeria is poverty. There are Nigerians that if you put food in the forest, they will pass through the boundary and go and collect the food. Poverty cannot be ranked number 2 in Nigeria. Poverty is number 1, number 1A, number 1B, to number 1K. The insecurity is now being added to it. But the Nigerians know that the insecurity is a government program.
Really?
Yes, so they know it's a government program. That's why all the people giving President Tinubu advice, which is not wiser than you. The reason why he didn't pay attention to security, in your view, is that the state of security favors him. The only reason why he's responding now is that he's seeing this security as an election embarrassment. He is the chief security officer of Nigeria, is the commander-in-chief. Things that are happening now that you have not seen, that if you see, you will stop this interview or run away. He has seen them. Wow. There is nothing that is going on in Nigeria that our security agencies don't know. And there is none that they don't document. And there is none that they keep away from the president. He may not see some because he's spending his time doing other irrelevant things. But the one he has seen is enough for him to know that there is insecurity in Nigeria. And he doesn't need to pass any one bill. He only needs to follow the existing law. But insecurity favors people who are in government. And there are 3 reasons why insecurity favors them. First, a free and undisturbed populace are going to ask questions about how I spend my money, what is happening. So if you are frightened and your house or on the mountain or you are playing 1,000 rakas in the mosque for your safety, it keeps you busy. Second, insecurity creates a dark spot and a black hole into which you can sink any money you have stolen. Because if they say in Askira Uba, in Kebbi, in all these places, in the Kwara, we have spent 1 trillion to get all these people out. People will say, Alhamdulillah, hallelujah, thank God. Nobody's going to ask questions, where is the receipt from the bandit? So, that favors them. The third issue, why it favors them, is that they have equated national security with regime protection. So, as far as they are concerned, their mental furniture has created an architecture whereby the job of the IG, DG, DSS, NIA, MIA, everybody, is to come and protect their government. The rest of you be in the state of nature. So, President, National Assembly members, some scrum for judiciary if they want to, governors, business people. So a bank MD can be given a platoon of 80 policemen, follow him as if he's a working cash. So, and that's it. The rest of you can be wherever you are. So, this is the reason why anybody who is waiting for President Tinubu to resolve insecurity issue is going to wait till I become president. And let me tell you additional things. State police local government police, all these things. As far as President Tinubu is concerned, it's pure politics.
Really?
That is another lever with which he can manipulate the governors. President Tinubu has an overwhelming influence on the governors for two reasons. Like I said before, he had decided to be extremely crafty in politics. So to do what the Greek called Tantalos, you will wave security at your face, keep it. Wave money, the release of money to your state, keep it. Wave capital projects, keep it. Wave your personal transgressions, keep it. So it's taking them in a Stalinistic way to decide. Secondly, for some accident of history, we have the most supine, irresponsible college of governors this season. People who, majority of whom, never dreamed that they would be governors. People's PA, people's chief of staff, people's accountant general, people's boys. That's why when something happens, somebody will say, this governor is my boy, I gave him the position. If it happened in Rivers, same story. If it happened in Lagos, same story. If it happened, in fact, Ogun, they say, who is this one? So, in Kano, the same narrative, all over. These are people hanging around in the corridor of power, looking for how to be debt collectors or little things around. These are low-level civil servants, as you see in Kogi and other places. That the person who is leaving is saying, who is the weakest link here? Who can be here and I'm still the one here? Who can disappear? That's why it is hard for children to remember the name of governors. So, this set of people who are now holding the second tier of government happen to be people without substance. You cannot go to any bookshop and see what book they've written. You cannot catch a serious interview like what we are doing now, that's substantive, like they can say, this is what I stand for. Many of them just travel 1 year, 6 months before they became governor. They never gave interview that I want to be governor. They just, my oga. So I'm not personally dissing them because it's a stage in our lives. Because we are the same people who produce Rimi, Mefodokilo, Aparaku, Folusho Ali, Jakande. Yes, all those heavyweights. We are the same country that produced them. Can you take that class of governors and compare to these ones? That's why these ones stay in Abuja. They are visitors to their states. So why I'm bringing out all of this is that will have been another layer that will have helped President Tinubu to now be able to reach out, because there is no way a president can be omnipresent and peripatetic. You can't be everywhere. It is your relationship with the governors that you have developmental pact with them. But President Tinubu has personal political pact with the governors. And in some cases, he put the governors under supervision of people who are not elected by anybody. So he has no counterpart development with them to say, if you reduce poverty in your state by 12 digits, I am going to give you this incentive. If you eliminate potholes on federal roads in your state, I'm going to reimburse you. If you bring political solutions or security solutions, I am going to back you up. No, he's telling governors who are sovereigns in their own state to write proposal to IG of police, who is an appointee. The IG of police is not a policy maker. He's a law enforcer. So you pass the law and give it to him. He doesn't write the rules under which he's going to operate. That's not the design of that office. So this is the problem that's making Nigerians not to... Nigerians have not diagnosed President Tinubu. President Tinubu is a person who is pretending to be sleeping. You can't wake him up. There's nothing you do.
According to President Goodluck Jonathan.
Yes, because he's pretending to be sleeping. You can't wake him up.
Wow.
He's just an eremite. He says, I don't care about you guys. Leave me alone.
Brilliant. Prince, let's leave the issue of President Tinubu. I'm sure there'll be enough time to deal with that again. Let's switch gears. Your party there is Social Democratic Party, SDP, is enmeshed currently in some form of crisis. You have factional presidential, factional chairman, and all of those litigations there and there. What are you doing personally because as a presidential candidate, you are the leader of the party in conjunction with the NWC, at least the faction to which you belong. What are you doing to bring this party together? This is one of Nigeria's legacy party, together with the PRP and all of those. What are you doing?
Party is together. Let me explain to you. I cannot stop President Tinubu from doing political experiments. He's the parable of the weed that's in the Bible. Every political party, when you plant your crops, yes, when you go to sleep, President Tinubu will come and put weed inside.
In the night, come up so...
Yes. So, and the INEC is the fertilizer for that. So, I can create a factional station now.
Yes.
You can't stop me. So, there you have an executive of 15. 2 have been disciplined. They've not gone to court. They've not done anything. You just go out of your way and go and put them there because you want them to give you support because of cowardice. And you know, when you are president, imagine me as president. I will be looking forward to election because all the resources of the state are with me. I know how to please the people. I know how to serve them. That if you go and campaign against me, they will just be laughing at you because they will see what they are enjoying. Okay, look at yesterday. Wike went to commission a section, another section of the outer southern expressway. Whether I like Wike or not, can I deny that? I went around, immediately I came back from Washington. This morning, I went around and drove on that road. I said, okay, this road, even though it's overpriced, and I will have done 20 roads at the same price, but they've done something. So I am an opponent of APC. I am not a fan of Wike's politics. But I cannot deny that he did road, I can see. Whether he overcharged the road, he overextended the budget, the important thing is that the road is there. Yeah. So if President Tinubu solves problem of insecurity, if he creates employment, if he builds infrastructure, why will I not acknowledge it?
He deals with insecurity.
Yes, but he's spending all his time on mischief, presidential mischief in politics. So what we are doing in our parties that we're holding together, but we cannot, for example, last time we were speaking, INEC said they were forcing a court order. So if you go to our INEC portal now, all our executives are intact, except the chairman, whom INEC put in parentheses by court order. INEC itself said they did that by court order. We said, show us the court order. They couldn't. In any case, they referenced a court order and some, what we call in law, obiter, comments made by Honorable Justice Wike. Now, and when we go to Supreme Court said the Honorable Justice Eberechi Wike had no jurisdiction, had no basis to go and make those comments. And Supreme Court set the whole thing aside. So, INEC, as I yesterday, said, we collected the court order. We are going to effect the change. So, what can I do about that? Am I going to tell Abubakar how to be INEC chairman? He's a professor of law and a senior member of the bar. So, he's a professor of evidence. And evidence is that you take judicial notice of court judgments. He has certified true copy. So, it's not a fight within my party. My party, we are united. But we cannot do INEC's job for it. We cannot tell INEC, we can advise INEC to say, don't listen to political pressure. Don't damage political parties. But I can't tell INEC how to control their staff. INEC doesn't know that there's a woman called Joanne Arabs, that every political party is complaining that she's forging letters, she's creating factions, and she's making a killing out of it. INEC doesn't know. INEC knows. Even as yesterday, different political parties were saying, every time we write a letter to you in INEC, this Mrs. Joanne Arabs, director of EPM, will go and do a fake one. So, he doesn't know that. So
political parties are making this allegation
in front of Amukwiton.
Wow.
Pointing
at the lady.
Yes. Wow. Because the same characters.
EPM, sorry, Prince. EPM means
Electoral and Political Party Monitoring.
Okay.
The Joanne Arabs is the lady that is there. Yes. So she knows that she is a crook. She knows that she is the cause of the problems. Majority of the cases against INEC, but it's all they are using. Wow. And so Amukwita cannot control some commissioners because some commissioners have bad habits from the last administration. So you cannot, there is what the law calls primus inter pares. It's just senior among equals, first among equals. So you can move a commissioner away from where they are causing problem to where they will cause less problem. You can caution them, but for your staff, you can actually ensure that you serve. But it gives the impression that Amukwita is either weak, which is obvious. So people are weak, but situation can strengthen you. Yeah. Not everybody is lucky or born strong. Some are weaklings, and people will look at you. Sometimes you get an appointment because people who appoint you, you don't deserve it. That if they put a deserving person there, they will not do their bid. So they can look at you and say, this guy is particularly hopeless, spineless, and has a record of being subservient. I will put him, but circumstances can turn you around. And you can realize that, no, this is not how I'm going to remember the history. Especially if your name is Amukwiton, which in Yoruba means historical reference. So you want to be referenced as the man who killed democracy or as a man who extended the lifespan of democracy. So, so I cannot leave my party and now become the supervisor of INEC. And SDP will have a certain legacy. For example, how do we see us go in front of INEC and start demonstrating, protesting there? I'm not saying those who are doing it are wrong, but we believe that if we weaken INEC further, we will push them to run to the embrace of the government that's already castrated them. That it is better to engage INEC, strengthen INEC, and to collaborate with the judiciary where INEC is strained. Like, for example, this nonsensical timetable that is APC imposed timetable that they impose on political parties. We went to court and said, you can't do it. And the court said, yes, INEC can don't do it. INEC is quixotically appealing, but they're wasting their time because the law is very clear regarding that. So those things are not against INEC. When I criticize Amukwita, it's not that I want to ridicule him. It is to let him know that it doesn't matter how you got the job. It is now a Nigerian institution you are running. And the President Tinubu who put you there is not a better citizen than you. He wasn't born twice. The same citizenship is what you have. Anybody can help you to get a job. Even I, as president, when I become president, I will appoint people and I will tell them, I gave you the job for Nigeria, not for me. It's not a favor. So you don't have this mentality that, okay, I'll just manage myself in Jos, in my obscure life there. And these people now have put me in a very big position where I'm flying all over the world and I'm now a superstar. Let me not disappoint them. No. Because the President Tinubu's office itself is a public office. And the appointment is a public function. It's not a personal favor. And if you, as a professor of law, as a senior advocate, still have inferiority complex that you don't deserve to be INEC chairman, that's a mental problem.
Let's leave that alone. The Bloomberg media, came out and said Peter Obi's entry into the race, and of course, others such as yourself, SDP, Atiku, ADC, what's his name, PRP, Donald Duke, and maybe one or two others, of course, Omoyele Sowore and the rest of them, that you guys are rehashing 2023 all over again. That is splintering your votes rather than the Ibadan communique. I'm sure you were not there, but the Ibadan summit that had a coalition of all political parties, at least majority political parties, coming together. That is the only way you can unseat this behemoth APC and the. Because any attempt to remove this party and you think it's a child play, you all of us know it's not a child's play. What do you respond? How do you respond to this? That are you guys not better off together than being splintered? And that whatever you guys are doing, splintering your votes, it is music, good music to President Tinubu's ears. How do you respond to this?
Let us inquire is disinformation.
It is disinformation.
Yes, let us deconstruct it. Okay. First, Bloomberg is not a political sentinel for Nigeria.
Yeah.
Bloomberg himself was mayor of New York when I lived in New York, and he has some political bonds. So if it was easy, when he tried to be mayor again, they would not have defeated him blue-black.
It was his media platform.
I'm just letting you know
because
because the name sounds foreign doesn't mean they have more intelligence than us. The issue we need to get clear is this. We are not splitting the electorate.
Okay.
Tinubu's voters are not my voters. Because Tinubu's voters are voters who expect to be paid money, or who have some ethnic sentiment, or who believe in Muslim ticket or any other thing. They are not, no rational person, with due respect, would look at Tinubu's manifesto, his performance, his running away from debate and everything and say, I follow him based on how he persuaded me. People follow Tinubu. I'm not saying you cannot follow somebody. Yeah. They follow him based on their own innate biases in his favor, which is a plus for him. There are some people who vote for me now, maybe my mother, because I'm the handsomest person on earth as far as my mother is concerned. So you may vote for me for that reason. But she cannot say, it's after listening to all the other people, I started to vote for my son. No, it's just a sentimental vote. So those who follow President Tinubu sentimentally, no problem. But many Obi voters will not vote for me. They need to waste my time. Some will vote, but many will not, because they are Obi voters. And if Obi says there are 45 states in Nigeria, they will say that's correct. So they have their own sentimental reason for that. Now, Atiku's voters, why would they vote for me? Atiku's voters are people who follow him from party to party. Any party he goes. If tomorrow he leaves ADC and he says he's going to join NYSC, they will follow you and wear NYSC uniform and say NYSC is our party now. So don't conquest here. Anybody who can wear a red cap and reprogram his own brain and wear a red cap shows to you that he's saying, I am following Kwankwaso. So let us not assume that their voters are people who haven't made up their mind. What has happened? And it's not because Nigerian voters are bad. No. If you go to America, go to Tennessee, Alabama, they will always vote for Republican, even if they bring somebody straight out of prison. And if you go to California, you go to New York, you go to Vermont, they will vote Democrats. But there are people who call independent voters.
Yeah. The swing voters.
Yes. And the independent voters in Nigeria, fortunately, these people have switched off because they are tired of the shenanigans in politics. So those are the people that the SDP is attracting. Going around the country and saying, don't be angry to the point where you don't come out and vote. Don't commit apathetic suicide. Because your failure to come out is the reason why we're having this system where a person who got less than 8% of the total electorate is now the one shoving poverty into our throat and using insecurity to kill us. So the idea, therefore, that we are splitting vote does not arise. We are bringing new voters into the electorate. And when these new voters come, they will only come because they respond to the agenda we are bringing. Many of these people who you say are splitting vote, they're not coming from SDP. They are people who left APC or PDP. So it is the establishment vote that is being split, not the vote of the Nigerian people. Because last election, 93 million voters, 89 or so collected their PVC, about 20 million came to vote. And half, with all due respect of those, were fake votes that Mahmoud just credited to anybody. And then the other real votes, 2/3 were votes of Indomie, cash, rice, and all of that. So that is not the vote I want to split with anybody. So let us understand that this is the reason why I'm not bothered. But to cap it, what is going to bring us together? It is not the fear of not splitting the votes. What's going to bring us together is the fear of not disappointing the people. To create a platform where, if it is Mr. X that is supposed to be the consensus candidate of the opposition, we know that Mr. X will not disappoint. I was the secretary of the group that met in Ibadan. I resigned 2 days before, and I got my party to write to David Mark, to all of them, that with due respect, we cannot be part of this charade, because you cannot say you want to have one platform, one candidate, when you haven't agreed on what you are going to do together in government. And when some of the ideas you are proposing are ideas that are obnoxious to what Nigerians want to hear. And when you are still carrying people who have questions to answer in the last government as the front runners in your own. And lastly, when we have interview with you together, you say one thing. When you meet us individually, you are sabotaging each other. So we said, look, if we follow you to Ibadan, it will be a disgrace, because within 2 weeks, half of you say you disagree, and you are going to produce even more presidential candidates out of that Ibadan than the one you say you are going to produce. And hasn't it come to pass?
Played out already.
Yes.
Okay. You've not nominated your vice presidential candidate, or have you?
No.
Why?
Because we are consulting. You see, that's why our politics is different from the man-no-man politics. What my brother called Mamadu politics. You get my point? So, 2 people inside the room say, you'll be my vice. It doesn't work like that. If you do deep consultation across the country, interest group, supporters group, different, so its consultation is going on. We have prospects, and we are checking their background. For you to vet a vice presidential candidate, you need at least 90 days. Yes, because you have to get their biography, check where they have worked before, all the addresses they have lived before, if they've had different marriages before, what are their spouses say about them, if they work before, if they are professional, what are their clients saying about them, if they check banks, credit people to check whether they are owing bank money, whether they have cases in EFCC. I don't want to have a vice president and then they will call in and say, okay, you know what, file number so is up now. You will start shaking like a jelly. So you need to do all of that. Then you scout through the media. We have a team of media researchers. What has he said before? Has he spoken against Nigeria before? Has he spoken against sections of Nigeria before? These things, it's a deep search. If you want to be in government, these are things you need to do.
But this parameter or criteria you've listed, if you're going to spend 90 days, won't time catch up with you?
We started long ago.
Okay.
We started long ago, and we are towards the end of it. We'll spend about 70 days out of the 90 days now.
But I know former VP Atiku has also not nominated, announced a VP. Peter Obi, of course, him and Kwankwanso.
That's what gunpoint marriage. That's marriage at gunpoint.
Donald Duke also has not nominated. But referring specifically to your person, is there any condition under which you'll be willing to appear with any of your colleague presidential candidates?
That's for the party to decide. But what I can say is this. It's like this, my cap. You don't need to talk to anybody. Just put the cap on the table.
They will know who it belongs to.
So when you come, you put the cap on your head. If it fits, we have criteria for the person who should be president. And our criteria are 5.
Okay.
He must be ready to be president on day 1.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter whether you are young, you talk fast, you do everything. Anybody can die anytime. Anybody can run into trouble anytime. So the VP must be ready to be president on day 1. 2, he must be a person who is versatile in the economy. Because it is written, the way it is structured in our constitution, unlike what President Tinubu is doing anyhow now, the vice president is supposed to be the person leading the economic team. 3, he must be a person who is fearless and independent-minded. Not a person who's looking for a job, boy. No.
Brook a VP who can stand up to you and challenge you.
If he cannot, then he cannot be VP.
Oh, really?
Because he's the last person with me. Whenever I say, hey, fantastic, he's one who shut it down and say, not fantastic. This is not correct. So, and because of my relative inexperience in government, he has to be somebody who's like an Obama-Biden complex. So somebody who is experienced in the good part of government, who is well-versed in government, and who is a little older so that the older generation don't feel left out. And it has to also match the demographic configuration in Nigeria to avoid distractions. Otherwise, that can show lack of sensitivity to say, oh, so you don't even know that we're in a diverse society and this is not diverse enough.
Let me put you on the spot, Prince. In discussing with various politicians, from various political parties concerning this issue of presidential candidates and nomination of VP candidates, your name has come up here and there. People are saying specifically that you are being, you've been identified as a possible peer, to VP, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Would you consider being vice presidential candidate to former VP Atiku Abubakar?
Okay, let me tell you something. I respect Waziri Abubakar Atiku very well. We have a respectful relationship.
Mutually respectful.
Yes. He has my number. I have his number. Okay. You get my point? And this issue hasn't come up, so it is not responsible.
If Atiku Abubakar calls you now, what would be your response?
If he calls me now, I will have to answer his phone. I will interrupt your interview and answer his phone, and I will greet him. But he knows me more than all these people who are speculating. He knows my views about government. I respect him as a Democrat. Let me tell you why I respect Atiku. He has never served in the military government before. And in those days of Abacha, when everybody was falling all over themselves, he maintained respectable distance. And to say something which is an irony, he was the first presidential candidate or aspirant that I supported. Because in 1991, when I joined the SDP, around later 91, there were two candidates. He was running, Abiola was running, because at that time, we were thinking Yaradua was going to be the candidate. Now, when Babangida banned Yaradua, Babangida government, that is to say, banned Yaradua, and then Abiola came up, and Atiku came up. Then, our national chairman, Babakana Kingebe, who was supposed to be the umpire, suddenly came up too and said he wanted to run. I was told by Jack and Co that he was the governor pushing him. Whatever. But I supported Atiku because he was the youngest of them. He looked young. So I thought, okay, let me support this person. So I was in 1991 all over Lagos, pasting his poster. Eventually, Just Convention, he lost to Abiola, and then eventually Abiola shows Kingibe, then that's so. For me, as a 19-year-old, I had supported Atiku for president. I don't think Atiku considered it unjust to support me for president now, because at that time, he was about my age. That time, in fact, he was even younger than me at that time. So, and when he was in government with Obasanjo, they can't say I didn't offer 1 or 2 citizenship assistance to them. So, it is my turn now, turn of my generation now, to talk to them. So I personally don't think, and this is just me talking, I don't think that the presidency is, and I'm not being an ageist, the presidency is not a place for elderly people. Because however much you love football, however much you are passionate and you love football, you cannot join Super Eagles at the age of 80. And the president of Nigeria needs as much stamina as the coach or captain of Super Eagles. So I don't think that Vice President Atiku Abubakar's only way to serve Nigeria is for him to be president and not be able to execute it properly. And let me tell you why. President Muhammadu Buhari himself said, when he was elected, around 2016, he said, I wish I had gotten this position when I was younger. And I was very close to Chief Adekunle Ajasin, former governor of Ondo State. And on 1 or 2 occasions, in those Nadeko days, I would run to his house. One day I ran to his house, discussed some issues, and talking very fast. He said, young man, I'm not young anymore. If I was young, a lot of these things you are saying, I can do them. Go and see Bola Ige, somebody. So what I'm bringing out of this is that Atiku Abubakar, if he was younger, he could be a good president. I can tell you that. And he's a Democrat. He is committed to multi-party democracy, and we need to give him credit. But there's a time when something is just too late.
Okay. Some would counter this narrative by saying the best example of an 80-year-old president is President Donald Trump. Most young men.
And how is that going well in America?
Forget about how he's carrying on with the office. But in terms of energy, because that's your argument to nullify Atiku, is that he lacks the energy, even though you don't want to be ageist. But my point is that
I am not talking about Atiku, I'm talking about the office, that the way the office is designed. Yes. And I don't want to cut you. First in America, you saw what happened to Biden. Biden, at a stage, did not remember the 4 cardinal points, not east, west, and south anymore. If you listen to Donald Trump, and you listen to Donald Trump when he was much younger, I knew Donald Trump in New York before he entered politics. So I have an advantage over many people. It's not the same Donald Trump. Particularly in Nigeria, we don't have the health system. We don't have the bureaucratic system to support a presidency. The Nigerian president is virtually on his own. We don't have advanced institutions. America has over 85 national institutions that support the president. That the president can just press a button and he gets what he wants. In Nigeria, we are seeing the formative stage of that. And the morphology of our politics has not given us that governmental physiology that will make us to be able to do that. So the president has to be a person who is awake 20 hours a day, is able to spring all over the place, has retentive memory, has all of these things. In my own recommendation, I wouldn't ask my father if he was alive at this age to go and take that kind of job. My mother is still alive, and she's a patriot. She's very patriotic. My mother is as patriotic as anybody can come. But I will not encourage my mother to go and run for president at this time. So, out of respect for Vice President Atiku Abubakar, we can do this job for him. We can listen to him. He has fantastic ideas. And unlike many people who are in politics today, he's a person who is a pan-Nigerian and who has seen it all. He's done well in business. He's linked to all parts of Nigeria. But this job is just too late.
Okay, but let's round up on that issue of VP. If it comes to you, at least you will listen to him. Let's agree on that. You will listen to him.
I listen to it, because I'm listening to you, I listen to everything, but
I'm not offering you VP ship now.
no, I'm saying that, no, I'm not looking for a job.
Okay.
I'm looking for a solution to the problems of my country.
Exactly.
So if I see a person
Yes.
who has these solutions and who has the energy and everything, I don't have to even be anything around the person. Right now, if President Tinubu, right now, change his ways, has an epiphany, somebody out of this people who go to the villa,
appears to him.
if they go to him and they change his life,
Yes.
and he tackles security decisively, shows accountability in government, has sympathy and empathy for the people, follow the Constitution. If he start doing that, in the next 6 months, I must start having second thoughts. Maybe I'm better off to go and run my law office because what I want to do is already been done. The reason why I'm out here is that they're practically killing the country. They are slaughtering the country alive. And I'm sitting down, what will I say? One of the greatest, I go around elder statesmen. I have many of them that I respect. And I always see them close to tears. You can't go and talk to Philip Asiodu when he looks at what they wanted the country to be. You need to see the halo of sadness around Emeka Anyaoku. When they look at what the country could be, why would Chinua Achebe write there was a country? That country is in their mind. So when they see what that country could have been and what it is today, I don't want to be old like that and sit down in my house. My grandchildren are being run away from kidnappers. There's no multiple road to leave. I'm now another statesman sitting in my house. There's no potable water. So the electricity is gone. People are not safe. I cannot, in my old age, drive to attend a wedding somewhere. I'm afraid. I don't want to be like that. That's why I'm doing all of these things. It's not that I'm looking for a job. So I need to be able to have a presidency that can tackle this problem in short order because Nigeria is running out of time. If you know what's going on in the world, and I know you know, there's a dearth of statesmanship in the world. There's hardly, you can't count 5 countries in the world that have statesmen. Maybe Canada with Carney, a few other places, but most parts of the world, the politics is broken. United Nations has virtually collapsed. WTO has disappeared. What does it tell you? That we need to give leadership to ourselves at home. Because I was just reading one insult this morning where Kuwait even disqualified Nigeria from bringing houseboy and house girls. To show you that not to be a doctor, just to be a houseboy and house girl, they said we don't even want you. So you need to listen to me. This generation needs to rescue the country. These problems are ours to solve. The problem that were meant for Atiku to solve, he has tried his best in the past. These problems are mine now. And in the next 10 years, they won't be mine anymore. They will be for the next generation to come.
2 quick questions, then we'll wrap up. I know we talked about INEC earlier on, but I want you to deal with this in 1 or 2 minutes. Is INEC redeemable? And concerning next year's election, permutations of rigging, because Yaga Africa Executive Director, Samson Itodo was here, seated where you sat. And he told me, I asked him straight, he said, yes, INEC is a captured institution, that the I there is not independent. Can INEC be redeemed? Is INEC redeemable?
INEC, the I there, INEC is an eyewitness to rigging. Oh, wow. Let me explain to you. It's not because of Amukutan. Amukutan Johnny just come. Even the commissioners who were there, the most experienced of them is May Agbamushe. It is not the same May that we knew that is there now. This one cannot touch the Bible or the Quran or the Constitution and survive it. I can tell you that. So the INEC commissioners are like those hostages in Oyo. It's just that the government is not demanding ransom. They are hostages. It doesn't matter whether you take anybody to replace them. It is not because Amukutan is intrinsically bad. He may have his own flaws, as you can see, indecisive, just confused. But that office of INEC chairman is held by President Tinubu by himself. And all these commissioners are caretakers. They are just there, subservient, looking for Esther code, travel here, come back here. That's it. We don't have an electoral commission because we failed to implement what Yar'Adua recommended that we should do. You have to recollect that this issue is personal to me because I was the core lawyer defending Yar'Adua's election. I was the secretary of all the legal team. And I was very close to Yar'Adua personally before he became president. And he was always lamenting that he was ashamed of the election that brought him. Forget about the one he said in the public. He was always saddened by it. And he was telling me that I will never choose an INEC chairman. I won't. If when they were putting pressure on him to remove Iwu, one of the reasons he gave was that I don't want to choose another INEC chairman. Let me solve the problem systematically and systemically. Let me take this INEC business out of government hand completely. Let the Nigerian people, through independent methods, choose the INEC chairman.
President Yar'Adua had this in the office.
Yes, and that's why he set up the Justice Lawa Uwe's panel. And he gave them the mandate and spoke with Justice Uwe that I want to be the last president that anybody will talk about. Nigeria should keep this issue of free and fair election. It should be a given. Now, the Uwe's panel sat, they made recommendations, which if we work on them, we won't be talking about INEC now. David Acheleno Mark was Senate president. He was joking with it. He threw it away. That's why all the effort to get the Senate to pass it, David Mark threw it away. Now he's a chairman.
Sorry, Prince.
Yes.
He threw it away.
He threw it away.
Be careful with history. President Jonathan, if I remember, said he would wait until he gets his second term before he come out.
Is President Jonathan in the Senate? The Senate is to make laws, yes. And the House. And we were talking to Goodluck Jonathan. We were also talking with the National Assembly. And we are reminding them, just like we are reminding President Tinubu now and all of his APC singers, that look, this or your mandate will expire. So if you are standing on the mandate service is a thin ice. It's going to expire soon. So what are you going to stand on next? Why don't you stand on the Constitution of Nigeria? Instead of standing on the mandate of one man. So the idea is that, somebody brings, many people criticize INEC because of episodic disagreements. Like now, INEC is messing up my party. It's an opportunity for me to insult them. I won't. The problem is not the individuals who are there. The configuration of that place is such that it's guaranteed to fail. An independent electoral commission should be independent of the government. It should not be a government agency. It should be a body that stands on its own, a special sui generis constitutional body. And it should only be answerable to a constitutional court. And you take it away from the regular. If you listen to what is happening in Peru now, you will see the battle between the Supreme Court and the Constitutional Court. And each one knows his limits. When it comes to adjudication of litigation, go to the Supreme Court. When it has to do with the constitutional, forming the government itself, you go to the Constitutional Court. So that's what we need to do. Amukutan can do better, but there's a limit. It's already there's a ceiling, just like where we are now. You can jump higher than me, but you can't jump above this ceiling. So that is what is happening. So what we can do now in the interim is, one, become a democratic vigilante. Instead of attacking INEC, insulting them, which is making them weaker, let us strengthen them. Let us pay attention to all their processes. Let us advise them. If they don't take advice, we take the matter to court. When they brought this ramshackle, straight-jacketed timetable, party were clapping. David Mark was there, Regbeshala was there. SDP stood up and said, Mr. INEC, you are not the one to do timetable for us.
Well, you didn't go to but it was youth party that
We went to court. Go and see. SDP versus INEC in Justice Omotosho's court. We went to court.
That was your case that Justice Omotosho ruled on.
Exactly. So we went to court, but we also advised INEC. And INEC on that day said, okay. Dr. Agunloye was the one who spoke, and Sadiq, our national chairman, he said, you're right. So because of that, INEC adjusted the timetable again from April 21 to May 30. We still told them, adjustment is not your business. You can have your own calendar. We can exchange calendar. But you cannot bind me as to when I will do my primaries. Because I may be checking one candidate that I'm not too sure about him, whatever I want to do. So now, these are the things we can do. Nigerians need to pay attention. Right now, they are doing voter registration. Nigerians need to take it up. Then, on the election day, we need to be a democratic vigilante. So, I help INEC so that INEC does not get swallowed by the government. So, it's a push and pull. If only the government people are breathing down the neck of INEC, as they are doing every day. Every day. If you form SYMFONI party now, just form me and put your application in INEC. President Tinubu will not sleep again. Wow. Hey, SYMFONI party. Oh my God, SYMFONI party. You won't sleep. The whole government will shut down. They will be looking for who can come and fight you. So they are the one putting pressure on INEC. So the only way to counterbalance is that the Nigerian people themselves should also put pressure on INEC. So between the people and their government, INEC will be on the side of the people. Because INEC knows that government will go, but people are not going to go. So those are the things we can do. So it's not just about who is supposed to be in INEC. No, the whole INEC needs to be totally revamped and changed, yes.
Now, last question, Prince. We've had all this conversation about, and you've talked variously about removing President Tinubu. In your crystal ball, as you project into the future, next year, January elections, how can you even, what gives you hope? In present day realities, what gives you hope that defeating President Tinubu is possible?
President Tinubu is already defeated. Oh, wow. You know what they said about Boko Haram last time? Technically defeated. President Tinubu has been demographically, economically, politically defeated. Wow. What he is hoping on is a truncated transition program where one party will have two candidates, they will be in court, INEC will miss your name, so they will be distracting you. President Tinubu is not popular in the South. He doesn't understand what's going on in the North. It's a disappointment in the West. It's an anathema in the East. And in the center cannot hold for him. So what he is hoping on is that the Nigerian people will be so disillusioned, so annoyed, so hopeless that they won't bother to come out. Because he will now be able to patch together his renewed hopelessness ambassadors and then get them to distribute rice. Because I don't know if it happened in your school. When we were in school, we used to have dispensary in school when we were in. If you fell down, they'll give you Lucozade. Yeah. If your stomach is paining you, they give you Lucozade. Glucose and Lucozade. Yeah. That's how President Tinubu is. It's a Lucozade government. If you say bandit is chasing you, bag of rice. There's no NEPA in your area, bag of rice. So he believes in the power of bag of rice. And that's why he's thinking that, okay, if I make life harder, if I make it tougher, and bag of rice looks like, oh Lord, the Lord has come down. So why I have my confidence is that it's not going to work. The people are going to come out. They are going to ignore that broom, and they are going to put it on the White Horse. And we are going around the country to ensure that happens. President Tinubu is not a viable presidential candidate. He knows. Those who don't know, or those who want to know, are those who don't know what to do when Tinubu goes. But President Tinubu himself knows that he's not a viable presidential candidate. He knows that he has failed on his mandate. He knows that he doesn't even have manpower to use. Look at what has happened to him. You have a serious problem with the economy. You had Wale Edu, who used to be right once a month. You threw him away and brought an unlettered tax collector to come and manage economy that has multipliers. So you are saying that you were traveling by keke napep. It was too slow. So what's the solution? Is to now get a snail, to ride at the back of a snail. So Wale Edun at least was a very slow speed fellow facing the right direction. This one is a combobulated person who has no single thought on the economy. So who believes, who should have sent to Inland Revenue or National Revenue Service to collect his money and count it and hand over to him? So what I'm bringing out is that I'm happy for the gentleman that he got a job, but it is President Tinubu who has shown to you that instead of getting better, he has run out of ideas and he has run out of people. Because if you have not run out of people, in this critical area of the economy, you will have enough people. Yes. So this is his own idea now of Awolowo. When Gawan went and chose Awolowo as Minister of Finance, yes, his own version of it. And I've been waiting. This is the person who will help you tackle the Bretton Woods institutions. This is the person who will grow your industry for you. And where is the conversation? And do you see them? Do you see? All over the world, we have the 10 and 11 pairing. We had it in Nigeria before. The Prime Minister, Minister of Finance. We have it in the US, the Treasury Secretary and the President. Have you seen them? There's no pairing. They have never sat together to discuss the economy. So they just announced the gentleman's name. He's sitting there and shuffling files. So what I'm letting you know is that President Tinubu is not on the ballot.
Even if his name is there?
He's not on the ballot. Wow. He's just hoping that the election will not work and that some abracadabra will work. But if it is one man, one vote, woman vote, man vote, you remember that means play. Yes. Man talk, woman talk. If it's man vote, woman vote, bye-bye Tinubu.
Nice place to anchor. Yes. Prince, it's been a wonderful session this morning with you. And I'm sure we can do this again a couple of times.
This is what I do for live now. Absolutely. Anytime.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
Next time, less Tinubu, more Nigeria.
Absolutely.
God bless Nigeria.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Prince, thank you for coming.